Hey, happy Monday. Good morning. Your man Omid coming to you once again with a market update so you can be smarter than the person that you're sitting next to. So buckle in and let's get this done. Market last week. So we were in this kind of a holding pattern, if you will, and nothing was doing a whole lot of anything. And then this is from Thursday and Friday of last week. Here's today, very, very small movements. We are overbought at this point, and I think that based on what happened last week with the CPI and PPI reports, we're probably a good time to take some money off the table and get yourself locked in if you're not. Now, last week's rate 7.12 nationally averaged by our good friends over at Mortgage News Daily. I can never get this name right. Mortgage News Daily. I always want to say Mortgage Daily News. Anyways, came in today at 7.10 versus 7.12. So very, very slim, 1 or 2 basis points movements, really nothing huge, very, very flat. So it loses some and it recovers. So at this point in time, we're just treading water. Now, why is that happening? The April 24 CPI numbers came in and they showed zero point 0.3 higher in March. They were steady as well from the previous year, right? Still at 3.4. The producer's price index, which is what measures inflation at a wholesale level before it gets to us, that one shows as well there's an increase month to month. Now, one of the ways that the core came down here, as you saw, it was a rally because it came in a little bit lower, which then turns on some light and goes, okay, the Federal Reserve is going to do what it is that they're going to do, decrease Fed funds rate. I don't see that. Again, I maintain we're going to see one right before the election. One of the ways that they did that is that they actually removed coffee. And now they took out this thing and said, we didn't move coffee. We didn't like the way that it was packaged. Well, coffee went up 44% or something crazy from one year versus the next. So the BLS ends up taking coffee out of the mix of the CPI and drops the CPI. Again, I want you to pay specific attention with the games that are being played with the jobs numbers, the unemployment numbers, and now with this. Okay? Election years always present such a thing. I don't care. It's not a commentary on red versus blue. But this happens during election years every single time. Now, okay, so what's moving and shaking the markets for this week? Really, it's not a whole lot. I want you to pay special attention to a couple things. CoreLogic's rent index, which measures how much rent we're paying nationally, if you will, if that's gone up or down. Rent makes up 41% of the CPI numbers, so you're going to want to keep an eye on that. Car insurance is right now through the roof. I don't need to tell anybody on this call, especially if you have young children. It's a lot hotter, and that is also inflationary. Initial jobless claims comes out showing us how many people applied for unemployment report benefits for the first time, as well as existing home sales. I'm going to keep my eye on the durable goods because that is what reflects on our national gross domestic product, right? And so that's going to be an interesting one to watch. As always, please share this with at least one person if you find this information useful to you. It's important that we educate ourselves and not get mired down by all the negative crap that we see on the news. So let's get ourselves educated. Now, hear a lot about a bubble. Everybody, I'm not going to buy yet. I'm not going to buy yet because there's going to be a bubble. Well, take a look at what's happened here since June of last year, right? This is real estate nationally, up 2.3, 2.3, 2.3, 6.6, right? And here locally in Washington State, specifically in King County, it's as that, if not worse, as far as the price is getting hotter. And we were thinking that the higher than expected mortgage rates was going to cool that down, but there is such a lack of inventory out there that people need homes and they're willing to pay higher prices for them. As a matter of fact, Redfin just released this, that roughly 1 out of 3 homes that were purchased with cash. Is that crazy or what? 34% of homes out there were purchased with cash money. Shows you how much cash is out there. Now, as you guys know, part of the ways that we fight all of these higher rates with seller concessions, and I reverse engineer a lot of the ways that our realtors write up those deals with concessions from the seller. And we always get asked, hey, how much can we ask for, et cetera, et cetera. I've made you this cool little cheat sheet. It's going to be attached to this email. Take a look at it. Very self-explanatory. As an example, conventional loan for a primary, you're putting 10 to 24% down, 6%, right? Keep in mind, conventional investment, regardless of how much you're putting down, it's capped at 2%. VA has got a kind of a funky thing where they have unlimited concessions if it goes towards closing costs and discount points, but there is a reverse calculation that goes on there. We've printed it this way because this is the way that they say it on their records. However, it's more likely right around that 4%. So be wary of that if you have a VA deal that needs a concession, okay? Now, Guess who's back? Back again, Freddie Mac. Well, Freddie Mac sounds like a rapper, but it is not. It's one of the government-sponsored enterprises, just like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, right? And so they are now expressing their interest in buying second mortgages because they're seeing a market where there's a lot of folks that own homes that simply don't want to get out of them and let go of their 2.5%, 3.5% interest rate. So now they're starting to think about offering to buy those second mortgages that are originated by the mortgage industry. So let's see how that affects things. I'm not holding my breath. I don't think they're going to do it, but let's just wait and see. And last but not least, this made me chuckle. We're going through a big backyard remodel right now, and outdoor kitchen, etc. And so the MLS description said, lovely outdoor kitchen. So I hope that made you chuckle today as well. Okay, as always, just a phone call away if you need anything. Let's spread the word. Let's get this out there. Subscribe and forward this on to your friends. Let's get everybody educated. Educated buyers, educated realtors are just happier. So let's get people happy. Okay? Cheers and take care.